So again, Dave Pimper will be joining us shortly. Dave is a coach, a lot of experience in Social Security claiming, a lot of experience in seminars in general. We're very fortunate to have someone of Dave's capability and understanding, not just about Social Security, but about the seminar process and how to make that work so well and be so successful. So he coaches our folks from pretty much an A to Z, helps with the process of the mailings, helps with the process of picking out venues and making sure that we have the right demographics, everything you need to be successful. So it's really kind of a turnkey opportunity for you. Before we get started talking about that and with Dave, I'm going to run through just a couple of things. And if you have any questions as they arise, what I want you to get is to type them in, or simply, if you want to talk about it after the webinar today, you can give me a call, and I'll have my number up a couple of times during the course of the event. But if you want to write it down now, it's 800-255-5055. Okay, so a couple things that, as I mentioned, I want to go through with you. First, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of our business builders, and many of you are very familiar with these programs, and I see we've got a decent share of folks on with us today that are relatively new to IAMS. So I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. You can see those two programs up on the screen and get an idea of how they work. The Referred Producer Program, we send those checks out quarterly. Some of the largest checks that we send out, our business has basically been built here at IAMS from referrals, probably not unlike many of you. So we put a lot of effort and a lot of reward behind referrals, and you can see how that would work. Bottom line is that when you refer someone to us, you're going to receive a referred producer bonus, and that bonus is ongoing for as long as that person is with us and based on the business that they do. Marketing reimbursement works similarly. So marketing reimbursement is a pretty straightforward thing. When you do business with us, we put money in your marketing reimbursement account. When you spend money on marketing and growing your business, then we will reimburse you. We share that expense with you dollar for dollar. So nice program, one that we've seen a lot of success with, and again, a program that we send out a good number of checks with, and those go out pretty much we do those pretty much daily. So anytime that you have an expense you want out of your marketing reimbursement account, you get with Shelby, and she will get a check cut back out to you when she receives your receipts. Great little program. Couple of programs I mentioned, we've got some new producers on us. So again, I'm going to run through this real quick. When you do business with us in your first 180 days, you can pick and choose the level at which you want to take advantage of your new producer bonus. A couple that I will call your attention to, I know you're capable of reading, so you can see the 100,000, 300,000, and 500,000 level. Those are directly proportional to annuity premiums. So if you do 500,000, that's 500,000 points. The points granted are higher based on single premium life and flow premium life and other product sales that you might do with us. So keep that in mind. But if you look at, for instance, the $300,000 and $500,000 level, there's a couple of things that would pertain to our webinar today. At the $300,000 level, as you can, or 300,000 point level, as you can see, we will get you the Social Security program and also pay for a 3,000 piece mailing, which is about what most folks do for their first seminar or two. At the $500,000 level, we make available to you a 4,000 piece mailing, the seminar, all the coaching with Dave. So if you're doing business, for instance, with one of our competitors, or maybe you've not used an FMO or IMO before and you want to look at maybe getting the seminar business, this is a great turnkey way to do it. When you do 500,000 business with us, we'll put everything in your hands you need to be successful. And as you'll learn as we go through today's webinar, you will be successful in Social Security claiming. Even if you haven't done seminars, you'll find that that's a great fit for you. So take advantage of new producer bonuses. So back off of support, and again, I'm preaching to the choir a little bit for a lot of you folks that have been with us for a while, but if you were to look at IAMS, and let's say that if you stood me up and our top 10 or 15 competitors, those companies that, kind of the larger IMO group that we're part of, and you said, okay, who's got the best service, who has the best reputation per service? I don't think I'm speaking out of turn if I would say that most of our competitors would probably say that IAMS has probably got the best reputation. We put a lot of effort behind it, getting you paid from the submission to the commission. Part of your business is really important to us. We have a good team put together around that can help you at every step of the way, and kind of takes a lot of the work and grind of your business out of your hands and puts it into our hands and keeps you informed of it throughout the process. So a lot of our guys get spoiled and love that about us, and we love that we can bring that level of service. So Very, very big part of our business. And a lot of that support starts before you do business. So as you know, or many of you may know, we have a 3-ring guarantee here. So we don't do voicemail at all. So when you call in, you're going to get a live answer. The phone rings on every desk here in our office. You're going to get a live answer, and you're going to get your question answered right on the spot. That can be pretty handy when maybe you're sitting with a client or you've got some information you need quickly or a quote that you need quickly. That 3-ring guarantee can make a real difference in your business, and I think can be real important to you. So we think that's important, but it's not going to change while we're involved in laying out the focus and the direction of this company, because we think that's very, very important. And we know from our past 30 years of conventions and when we get together with agents, we always ask, what's one of the things that ties you closest? And besides that service aspect, knowing that when they call, they're going to get a live answer is real important to them. So hopefully for those of you that have not done business with us, you can think about how that might make a difference in your day-to-day business and give us a call and let us show you what we can do there. Another thing that more and more is becoming important in what we offer to our agents is the creative solutions department. So we have built a team of folks that their sole purpose is to work with you to help do the things that you need to do to grow your marketing. We've seen that as a bigger part of the success of some of our most successful groups and agencies and producers. And so we've dedicated some internal folks with some knowledge and, kind of given them rein to do as good a job as they can to help you grow your business, which means not only responding to your needs, but also giving you suggestions on things that other producers do that have been successful, whether it's Facebook marketing or, pamphlet mail outs or online marketing or getting your digital, footprint up and looking a little bit better via websites and Facebook and business Facebook. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. What we found is that, and you may or may not agree with us, but a lot of folks that are good at this retail sales are not necessarily as good at the marketing part of their business. So that's why we built that department. They do a great job. That's a cost center for us. We know that we're spending a little money to get you out in front of more people. We're comfortable with that. We're going to do everything that we can, basically pro bono. And when it comes to some of the things that we can't do pro bono, we're going to do that at cost with the idea that we're going to make the money when your business gets growing and you do business with us. So great part of the things that we offer. If you've ever looked at what an advertising agency can cost or what that online marketing and growing your business that way can cost you, you'll be very pleased with what we can do it for you here at IAMS. And I would encourage you to make that part of what you do. IAMS website, if you don't have a website, and this is maybe not the perfect way to market this, but I don't talk to a lot of our guys that say, hey, I'm getting tons of business or I'm even getting any business from my website. But I think to not have a website and not have a good, solid, professional looking website in today's environment, I think is a real handicap. With the knowledge of that, what we've tried to do here is get a good, solid website platform where we can put a website up for you that has a nice professional look with as little expense and as little bit of your time involved as possible. And when you talk to our creative solutions team, they'll walk you through that process and what they need from you and what the cost is. Most guys, frankly, pay with it out of their marketing reimbursement, so that's pretty good. If you don't have a website, you probably don't know the sales that you may have lost by not having one. How many customers, how many consumers you talk to say, hey, I'd like to take a look at your website. You want to say that you have one, and we want to make that easy and cost effective for you. And I think you'll find when you look closer, I think you'll find that we've accomplished that. So if you don't have a website, give us a call. Ask for Tej, ask for Josh, and we'll get you set up. If you're not doing some type of retirement analysis or a cash flow analysis or retirement income analysis for your clients when they're looking for your assistance in this part of their kind of economic stage of their life, you might want to take a close look at the retirement analyzer, or at least take a look at a product like that, because as you sit down with your client and work with the retirement analyzer, you'll see how that kind of walks them through the process and brings them out the other end of the process, understanding what they need to do, how they need to do it. And now you become someone that's not saying, hey, I think this is a product that you need. Rather, you're going to say, okay, this is a product that's going to fit in this particular slot for you, take care of this particular problem. So having a software tool to do that is important. The retirement analyzer, by all counts, is probably the best global solution to that need for you. And right now, what we're able to do here at IAMS is we have purchased a user set, and we're able to make that user license available to you at our expense. And we've been doing that for the past 7 to 10 years, and just seen a regular kind of steady growth in that part of the of our agent base and using the retirement analyzer. If that's something that you have interest in, give Marcus here at our office a call and say, hey, I'm interested in that retirement analyzer. Can you set me up with a username, and let him walk you through and do some of the training. They've got great training that you can use. I'm going to warn you up front that it's a very complete and global program. So like anything, when you want good information out, you've got to put complete and good information in. But once you see how it works and how you work with your client through the process, I think you'll be very pleased with the process. And it's a full-on process. It's everything that you need, from the fact-finding process to the product recommendation process. It's got a lot of the best interest information that you need for your file that can kind of protect you. Should the question ever come up as to, hey, why did you recommend this product? It's got really good stuff in there for that. So if you haven't looked at a product like that, I would recommend you take a quick look at the retirement analyzer, see if that's a fit. If you look at that and you say, okay, I'm looking for something like that, but I need something easier, I've got solutions for that as well. But the retirement analyzer is a great place for you to look and to begin that process. So if we can help you with that, we'd love to. Again, we're doing that right now for our producers at no cost, so take advantage of that. Many of you may or may not be familiar with IAMS Wealth. IAMS Wealth is an RIA, been in place with us here at IAMS now for about 14, 15 months. See nice growth there. And a lot of that, of course, has to do with the marketplace that we've been in here just recently. DOL certainly has encouraged some guys that maybe hadn't considered going through that process to look at that. We've also introduced a solicitor option, so maybe you don't want to get your 65, but you want to be able to have a way to recommend to your clients some wealth management services, so we can help you with that. If you have interest at all in learning more about what IAMS Wealth Management does, how we might be able to help you directly if you want to get a Series 65, if you want to become an investment advisor rep. If you're already an investment advisor rep and you want information on how our costs and fee payouts are among the most competitive in the industry right now, we'd love to get you that information. If you are in the camp of, hey, I'm not ready to get my Series 65, but I want to be able to recommend some wealth management services to my clients, how do I go about doing that? And if either of those things are the case, check yes on that poll, and I will make sure that Charles Hiring gives you a call, kind of walks you through that process a little bit, and maybe send you out a little basic information about IAMS Wealth, the fee structure and the payout structure, and see if that might be a good fit for you. If you need some help with getting that Series 65 license, we also have a program to do that as well. So no matter what stage you are, if you've considered RIA services for your clients, wealth management services for your client, we've got a way to help you. So if you have interest in that, simply click yes on that poll. I'll give you just about 30 seconds to hit yes or no, and then we'll move on to the next slide. A lot of times what comes up there is, tell me a little bit of the ins and outs, what do I need to know, and if you just want to have a quick call with Charles, I'll give you the opportunity to do that as well. The number is 1-800-255-5055, and just ask for Charles Jr. If he's unavailable, Mike Hansen will be available, and they can walk you through some of the basics and see if maybe further discussion might be warranted. So give us a call on that, or if you checked yes on the poll, we'll get you pretty quickly in touch with the folks over there. So with that, I'm going to close down that poll. Many of you, most of you have voted, so I'll take care of that right now. And let's keep moving on a little bit. So many of you are familiar with and maybe received invitation or at least have looked closely at an agenda for life and annuity academies. As I have learned really within our industry, they've been kind of taken on a life of their own. I've had a lot of interest in our Life Annuity Academy. A lot of our competitors have heard about our Life and Annuity Academies and have some certainly recognize the value of what we're doing there for producers in the field. So the Life and Annuity Academy is about a 3-day event. You're going to be out of your office for 3 days. We're going to take care of your travel and stay expenses. The cost to you, of course, will be being out of your office, and usually we do that on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the next one that's coming up will be now after the first of the year. So if you have interest in being in learning more about the Academy and potentially being included in the folks that we invite into our academies for 2018, what I'm going to ask you to do is to hit yes on this poll. And what will happen if you do that is that you will receive an email, and that email will have a sample agenda, and it'll have a registration form. And when you complete the registration form, what that does is put you on the list of folks that we will call up during the course of the year for one of our 4 academies. So we do about 1 a quarter, and if the first quarter is not workable for you, the second quarter, third quarter, we'll get you in one of them. If after you read the agenda, that looks like it'll be a good fit for you. And what you'll find when you read through the agenda is that the topics are mostly sales and marketing. So we have 4 top producers that come in and present. Anthony will talk about kind of the infinite banking concept. John Enting comes in and talks about a particular sales idea around a very particular product that really meshes well for annuity producers. It's been very popular. Matt Gill will talk about kind of an insurance-based seminar system that is designed very specifically to sell fixed indexed annuities. Dave Pimper will make his Social Security seminar. He'll do a presentation on that, and then they also do on his 401k and IRA qualified funds seminar. So we really go over 3 seminars, 2 great sales ideas from top producers, and then we'll hit on some marketing opportunities for you. We'll hit on some lead generation opportunities for you. We'll have a little bit of product mix in there. We'll talk about certain products or where certain products fit in certain sales processes. So pretty comprehensive, as you can imagine. That's a lot to squeeze into really about 2.5 days of presentation. So it's a very full agenda. If you'd like to see a sample agenda and what we talk about, simply hit yes on that poll. We'll send you the sample agenda and a registration form, which you can then, if you choose to complete that and send it back, that will put you among the folks that we will contact going forward about Life and Annuity Academy. So great opportunity for you. If you have some interest, hit yes on that. And I see, wow, everyone, there's like 5 of you that hadn't voted. That's pretty good. Thank you for that. We will get that. It looks like most of you have some interest, so we'll get that agenda out to you along with the registration form. What I would say is if you have any questions, or for those of you that have been unable to vote, because I see we've got a few of you that are just listening and not viewing online, simply give me a call if you want that form and a sample agenda sent out. The number here is 800-255-5055. And with that, I'm going to close the poll up here. Thank you again for your quick turnaround on that vote. We do have a number of folks on board here with us that have actually already qualified for our marketing summit out at the Boulders. If you've not heard of the Boulders, it's a great, I think, voted one of the best golf resorts in the country and voted one of Arizona's best resorts overall. They've got a great spa there, by the way, for your guest or your spouse. Great golf. We'll have some great meetings. We'll try and mix in a little bit of education, but we try and have it to where you have plenty of time to rest and relax and kind of recharge your batteries. And qualification or the invitations have been sent out for most of the attendees, but I know there's a few of you on the line here with us that are still on the cusp of qualification, so we've still got some time to do that. The qualification runs through the end of the year. You can see the qualification levels there. If you have any questions about that, again, I would encourage you to give me a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. So I'm going to put you all on hold for just a moment, and very soon we will have Dave Pimper joining us as well.
I am with you.
Oh, great. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Appreciate you getting on. We had just a minor difficulty up front. Were you able to hear throughout, or were you?
Just, no, I couldn't hear for maybe the first minute and a half, and then when you came on, then you're crystal clear, Mr. Murray. That's right.
Good. Yeah, I hate to start a webinar that way, but again, as I mentioned at the outset, Dave is the coach. He's been working with us for about 11, 12 years now. Top producer, joined us at all of our top producers escape since he joined us, and has had years and years of seminar experience. He probably started doing them in the early 80s, which is about the time that I got in the business. So he's been doing this for a long time, approaching 500 or so total seminars, which is impressive in itself. What he's going to talk about today, as I mentioned, Social Security claiming. And if you haven't done seminars in the past, I would encourage you to look very closely at Social Security claiming seminars. They're a great way to break into the seminar business. So, Dave, I know you want to talk a lot more about that and some other things and get into some of the details of Social Security claiming. So with that, I'm going to turn over the microphone to you, and I'll turn over the keyboard here shortly as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. And I appreciate everybody being on our call today, our webinar. It's interesting when you're a planner, when you're an advisor, taking time out of your day to listen to a webinar for an hour or an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, that certainly is a commitment on your part. I want to make it worth your time. And Social Security claiming strategies and how to market those strategies through seminar marketing, I think, is a real niche that is underserved in most communities. In fact, if you go back in and look at how many just John Q and Josephine Q public know about Social Security claiming, it's only about 3% of the people could actually go up and give an educational seminar, and only 15% of planners or advisors could do that. So you can become kind of the Social Security guru of your community. I get leads, and I get, I just did a last seminar here in Fremont, my town of 26,000, and a banker from a little town, Blair, Nebraska, about 15, 20 miles away, did not sign up for an appointment. Actually, he was younger. He was in his late 40s. But he said he gets so many questions about Social Security. Would it be okay if he referred them to me? And I said, yeah, I think I'll let you do that. Of course I will. And every time there's a question about Social Security, it isn't just as easy as saying do this, because you kind of got to look at their complete financial situation, and if you can sit down with them, the chance of working with some other of their monies is certainly goes in your favor. So what we're going to do today, we got a ton of people today. I mean, I'm just looking at them here from coast to coast and from north to south. So if you've got a question, certainly type it on in, and Steve will read that, and we will answer that for you. And we should be hopefully done by the top of the hour. That's what our goal is. So kind of stay with me on this. I'll see if I can go in and move those slides forward if Steve gives me the controls here. So we'll go to the next slide anyway. And as we're waiting for that, Social Security seminars, it's not for everybody. I mean, there certainly is cost with Social Security seminars, but what happens is that it's kind of a pay to play. Knowing a lot about Social Security, that certainly isn't going to make you money. Might make you a better planner, might help the person from educational, but you've got to get in front of people. And that's, of course, what the seminar itself does. This is a non-product, non-mealed seminar. We can get away with not having a meal because most people just don't know much about Social Security, and they're eager to get that information. So here's what baby boomers need to know. We mail out, first of all, from 58 year of age to 67. That's what we want to go in mail out. Okay. So see if I can get this going, Steve. I should have the controls. There we go. Yeah. So, and I'll go back. So ages 58 through 67. Those are the ages that we mail out. But people who come to a workshop like this, they want to know, when they should apply or what age to apply. Coordinating spousal benefits. We know that something has certainly gone on in, and it doesn't work the same since 2015 Bipartisan Budget Act came into play. If I take early, my benefits reduced. If I delay, how much more will I earn? Survivor benefits, divorce benefits. I mean, I just talked to a lady yesterday that from workshop, and she's been divorced. She was married for 10 years. She's currently unmarried, and she's 67 years age. She's still working, has not taken her Social Security. She could have restricted her application at 66 to her divorced husband's benefit. She could have received $750. She just lost out on $750 for 12 months, which is $9,000. She was just sick to her stomach. I told her there might be a way to go in and do a retroactive payment of benefit of 6 months, which for her would be $4,500 in one lump check if she could do that. So there's so much information that we can give Social Security recipients or people getting to the age of getting close to Social Security. Okay? So you're seeing many more things like this. Popular Social Security Strategies Next. That came from Kiplinger, December of 2015. He didn't used to see this 10 years ago, but you're seeing many more articles like this now. So why seminars? Well, first of all, as we talked about, it's very timely information. Very few know how the Social Security laws work. I work with pre-retired and retired. Those are the folks that have the majority of the money right now that is kind of a moving money. Maybe they don't have the same. I was talking to the president of our broker-dealer this morning, original owner, Dwayne Calton, and he was talking about how people getting towards retirement age, even though the market's been very, very good, what happens is that people are concerned about the market going down because we're in the 9th year of the bull market without a 20% bear market. The average is 5 to 5.5 years, and we're going in the 104th month without a 20% correction. That is forever in the investment business. Yeah, I always say the prospects need us more than we need them. That may not be true, but they'll certainly hunt you down to get the free analysis that Horse's Mouth, our third-party vendor of the seminar system, and also reading material, and also the analysis that it comes from. In transitioning from Social Security, which is strictly educational, to actually closing business, of course, puts money in your pocket, you're showing something for the client that will help them, that benefits them, that makes them money over the long haul. That type of education is invaluable. And for that, whatever the particular product, whether it be a fixed index or universal life or med sup or securities or fee-based money management, that can help them. That's how we get paid. Okay, so it's an educational seminar. There's not one piece of product that we talk about. This is the least push of type of a seminar. What the whole thing is supposed to do is to get us an appointment, get us one-to-one that we can go in and talk to that individual prospect. So will Social Security be there for me? And we talk about, oh yes, it will. It will be there for yourself. And what happens is that last year there was a $35 billion overage, or we weren't running a deficit. We're running a surplus in Social Security money and what was paid out. Pretty amazing to most people. Now, probably starting next year, the year after, no, it starts. Baby boomers are retiring more. There's no doubt we're supposed to run out of money by 2034. But remember, this is a pay-as-you-go system. So there's 3 people paying into Social Security for everyone retired. So even if the Social Security Trust Fund did go bankrupt and it had no money in it, there'd still be somewhere between 75 and 79 cents on every dollar coming to recipients for their Social Security. I'll tell you, the politicians aren't going to tell you that. They don't tell us a lot, but they're certainly not going to tell us that. Now, here's what I want to talk about in real simplistic form. If you have any questions, type them on in. But in real simplistic form, here's how Social Security works. Here's the bare bones of Social Security. There's 3 dates or times that are important with Social Security. There's the earliest you can take your benefit. What year is that? How old do you have to be? 62. There's the latest that you better take your benefit or you just lose that benefit until you take it, age 70. And then there's something called full retirement age. If you're born from 1943 to 1954, the full retirement age is 66. I was born in April of 1955. Mine's 66 years and 2 months. Then it was 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, up to if you're born 1960 or later, the full retirement age is 67. Now we're going to just hypothetically talk about 66 as full retirement age, but it's always between 66 and 67 of the people you're talking to at your seminar and for appointments. So if you're born in 62 and you take, you're born and you're going to take your Social Security at 62, the earliest you can, you're going to get a reduction. You get the money earlier, but you're going to get a reduction. If you wait until 70, you're going to get an increase from full retirement age. So that full retirement age, 66, or normal retirement age, that's the starting point. What happens is that you're either going to take it early and get the money earlier, but going to get less, or you're going to delay it later than 66 and you're going to get more of a monthly income for the rest of your life. But remember, it isn't just your life. So people say, yeah, my break point is 79.7 years. I figured it all out. Well, how about if you die and you're the male, let's say the female has a much lesser benefit, well, she can jump to your benefit. Or if they can do that. Or how about if you're divorced and have a divorced spouse benefit like yesterday? Yeah. So there's, the break even might be 73, 74, 75. So my mother is 94. My dad died at 82, 12 years ago. My mom has jumped to his benefit for the last 12 years, which is a much higher benefit than what she had. So the break-even should be a family break-even, husband and wife, not just a single break-even. If you have any questions, certainly just type them on in and I'll answer those for you. If you take it 62, there's a 25% reduction. As you can tell, it goes up another 5% the next year, then 6.7, 6.6, 6.7, up to the age of 66. So if you take it 62 and you have a $1,000 benefit coming in from Social Security, what happens is it's going to be reduced by 25%. And there are some reasons, good reasons. There's 3 good reasons to take your money early. You know what the best reason is? You need the cash. You need the income. Yeah, that's a good reason. How about if you just don't think you're going to live very long? Your entire family has been died of a certain disease, cancer or heart attack. Yeah, maybe you've got bad genes. Maybe you've got bad health. Those are all good reasons. You know what the worst reason to take it early? Ignorance. Haven't checked it out. Don't understand what the benefit decline is if you take early. I always say that Social Security is the worst water cooler corporate talk there is. Hey, Dave, I took mine at 62 and you should too. Everyone is individual and everyone is different. And this is why we have a slide that's later on towards the end of the presentation. Those are actual slides that I use. This is about maybe half or 2/3 of the slides that I actually do use. But you know what? I call it the income streams or income pillars: wages, pensions, investable assets, required minimum distributions on your RMD. That's certainly an income stream once you turn 70.5, isn't it? And Social Security. Social Security is by far the most flexible of all those income streams. So it isn't just saying, hey, when should we turn Social Security on? As an advisor, we're advising for the best interest of our client from a financial standpoint. We need to know what their wages are now, what their income is now, what their investable assets are that could turn into income, what their pensions, what their RMDs are going to approximately be at 70. Yeah, you have to know all those. So when you're uncovering those pieces of financial information, all of a sudden, we might see where there's something where we could help them. Social Security on the first appointment is the mainstay, but we're uncovering some type of an asset that they may be able to let us propose on. That's how it all comes about. And I've got, when we coach, which is over 5 coaching sessions, one of the last coaching sessions is to how to transition from Social Security to actually finding, I call it found money. Find that found money and then go on in and propose and hopefully work with that money. Yeah. Okay. Now, once you're at full retirement age, then the delayed retirement credits or DRCs, they go up 8% a year. 8% simple, not compounded, but simple. So if you've got a $2,000 benefit, 8% of 2,000 is how much? $160. Next year, $160. If you delay next year, $160. Next year, $160. And remember, COLA, cost of living allowance or inflation, is recorded each and every year. There's been 3 times since 1975, the start of COLA, that there hasn't been an inflation bump. Last year was only 0.3%. 2018 is going to be 2%. Well, if you're going up 8%, and all benefits, no matter what they are, spousal benefit, initial primary benefit, divorce benefit, survivor benefit, disability benefit, they all are impacted by COLA. It's going up 2% next year, so that's 10%. COLA in the last 10 years has averaged a little over 2%, about 2.5%. For the last, since 1975, it's averaged about 3.5%. We're in a low inflation arena right now. But 10%, so just think. If you wait 4 years on a $2,000 benefit, that's $200, $200, $200, $200. $800 that benefit is going to rise. Actually, it's a little bit more than that because it is a simple, but your inflation is compounded year to year to year from one year to the next. So it might even be $2,900. Think about it. On a $2,000 benefit, you wait 4 years and it goes up $800-900. Wow, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, and that's for the rest of your life, the rest of the survivor's life. It's a big, big deal. Don't ever think that's Social Security. I mean, 34% of the households in the United States, 90% of all the income they got coming in is solely from Social Security. It's a big deal. And we're actually working with that other 65% that have other income. And I say in the workshops, if you're married or you were married for 10 years and you're divorced and not married, or you're widowed, those are the most liberal Social Security benefits that you have. If you have money to go with that, and you've got money that you can delay taking Social Securities and work from pensions or money, that you've got investable assets that have an income stream, that's your best. If you just don't have much money and you're single, then there isn't as many options for Social Security. All right. Spousal benefits. So if you look at this from just kind of 2,000 feet looking down, and there's specifics and idiosyncrasies with almost every single benefit, the what ifs. But if John's PIA, primary insurance amount, that's the amount at full retirement age, 2,000. Jane's PIA is 800. Remember, it's gender neutral. Could be Jane 2,000, John 800. But most of the people in this era, a lot of the women did stay home with kids and had a little time off. So what happens is, let's say that John goes in. Say Jane wants to take 800 because she wants to have some money coming on in. Well, if he goes on in, he also takes, Jane could take all of hers, the lesser benefit from Social Security, can take all of theirs or half of their spouses, whichever is more. Huh. So how much could Jane take here? She could take 800 or what? Or 1,000, half of John's. John has to claim for Jane to take half of his. If John elects to keep his running, then she can only take 800 until he turns his on, and then she'll get a bump up of $200. Delayed retirement credits, the 8% per year plus cost of living. For spousal benefits, there's no gain for the spouse. So normally it isn't worth it for the spouse really to wait much longer than full retirement age if hers is not more than half of the husband's, or vice versa, wife to husband's. Okay? That's how a spousal benefit works. How about a divorced spouse? Here's the triple play that works if you're a divorced spouse. First of all, your marriage must have lasted 10 years or longer. The person receiving the divorce spouse benefit is currently unmarried, and the ex-spouse needs to be at least 62. Does it make a difference if the ex-spouse is taking? Does it make a difference if the ex-spouse is married? Does it make a difference if the ex-spouse is even dead? Because then there's a divorce survivor benefit. Pretty cool, huh? Then you could use your ex, no matter how much you dislike them or they dislike you. That doesn't play a part. As long as you got a divorce decree, a marriage certificate, and their Social Security number, you can use their benefit as if you're still married to them. And this is one of the very unique things. You can never have two spousal benefits at the same time unless it's through a divorce spouse benefit. She can take from him, he could take from her at the exact same time. It's a very liberal Social Security policy benefit when it comes to divorced spouses. How neat is that? Pretty darn cool. Now, survivor, when there's a death. Say there's Joe and Julie. They're married. And for this benefit, there's not going to be a reduction. Let's say they're both full retirement age. Joe's benefit's $2,000. Julie's benefit's $1,200. Joe dies. Julie has the option of keeping her benefit at $1,200, or she can jump to her husband's benefit of $2,000. Always remember it's gender neutral. It can be Julie's $2,000 and Joe is $1,200. So in this case, she's going to jump up to Joe's, isn't she? She has to notify the Social Security office to do this. It does not happen automatically. In fact, Social Security would rather have you not jump up. I talked to a lady that her benefit was, they're both workers, hers was $1,400 and her husband's was $1,800. There's $400 difference, and for 7 years, a little over 7 years, she did not know, until we talked, she had no idea you could do that. 7 years at $5,000, it was just under $35,000 that she went out and she lost. We actually did get her back 6 months of retroactive benefits. I just did a retroactive yesterday that I told the gal to do. She was divorced, been married for 10 years, currently unmarried. She's 67, just turned 67, like a week ago. She could have restricted her application, which we're going to talk about. To restrict your application, she could have gone in. Anyway, she left on the table $9,000, and we're trying to get half of that, $4,500 of that money back. But can you just tell how much is going on here with Social Security? And if you think you're confused, or if you don't really understand this, the great thing that we do, and this is something that other FMOs don't do. Remember, I don't work for the FMO. I am Steve Murray. He's one of the co-owners. Steve's been with the firm for probably 23, 24 years. Charles Hiring Sr. started that 31 years ago. He's still day-to-day in the business. What happens is that other FMOs that have seminars, and there's a lot of them, they give you the blueprint, and they'll talk to you from time to time. But it isn't like going and having someone hand-holding you through 5 appointments, explaining what to say on every slide, how to transition. All the documents we use here, you get. We've got 3 administrators in our office. Craig Jones heads up the 3 administrators. He's the one that helps you with finding a location. He helps you go in and do the demographics that we use, helping you with your everything we use for your bio, for your packet that we hand out to them. You actually see an ongoing, a little over an hour long video and audio of me giving an actual presentation. Yeah. So the difference is that it's kind of like putting that swing set together on the night before Christmas morning. And how frustrating it is. It's supposed to take an hour and a half to put together, and 4 hours later in a bottle of wine, you still haven't got it put together. What we do is we just don't give you the blueprint, but we give you the coach, which is Dave Pimper. I go in, and I've done over 460 public seminars since the mid-'80s. If you figure that out, that's only 14, 15 a year. I average about 18 to 20 a year right now. But what we do is, think if you had a person who had put together 100 swing sets and they were right there with you. Well, how much does that help you? You can actually get it done with a glass of wine and about an hour of work. Yeah. So survivor benefits, if you don't elect and tell Social Security you want to jump up, then you will certainly lose that benefit, as the person I was talking about. Coordinating spousal benefits. So something big happened in 2015 called the Bipartisan Budget Act. File to spend was phased out after 6 months. That's gone. Not coming back. Restricted application, which I talked about, and that's what we're going to talk about here, that is still in full force. As long as you were born before, well, as long as you were age 62 by 1/1 of 16. So January 1 of 2016. As long as you're 62, then you can still do restricted application. So let's go in. File suspended is gone, but restricted application. So here's how this works. Now stick with me on this. When we're coaching one-on-one, we have about 35 handouts that we email to you, between 30 and 35. Part of it is on restricted application. This is still alive as long as you were 62 by 1/1 of 16. So let's say there's Mike and Mary. They're both full retirement age. Mike's primary insurance amount is $2,000, and Mary's primary insurance amount, PIA, is $800. Mary files for a benefit because she wants money coming in some to the family right now. What's interesting is Mike, he's still working, and he doesn't want to take his. He wants to let it grow. Remember that 8% plus cost of living, 10% a year this year? Yeah, he wants to let that grow. So normally there would just be 800 and then nothing else coming on in. But if you restrict your application, get a load of this. Mike could go in and he can take half of his wife's primary insurance amount, $400. She still takes hers. His is still growing the 8% plus cost of living. It's called restricting your application to your spousal benefit. You can only do it at the age of full retirement age, in this case 66 or later, if you're born from 1943 to 1954. So isn't that pretty cool? That $400, that's free money. And he can turn on his benefit with the increased delayed retirement credits at any time, but the latest he can do it is age 70. But if he would wait till 70, there would be 800 coming in from Mary's. He gets half of 800, 400, that's 1,200 coming in. His 2,000 now is going to grow to anywhere from, say, $2,800 to maybe $3,000. How cool is that? How cool is that? So what happens is he's restricting his application. How many people do this? Virtually nobody. Can the Social Security Administration tell you to do this? Absolutely not. And we're going to show you some slides that actually Social Security, they cannot go in and give you advice. They can't tell you, hey, here's your options. They can tell you what your best benefit is right now. How about us as advisors? Can we give advice? You darn right we can. That's all we do is give good financial advice. I'm telling you right now, Social Security, it's a niche that if you don't have a background in that and you're not marketing Social Security claiming, you should be. Seminars are not for everyone. There's cost. It's kind of a pay to play, but you know what? The investment that you make in we just got done with the Social Security workshop here in my little town of 26,000, and we're loaded up with appointments this week and next week. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Am I guaranteed to write business? No, we're not. But every single person that I talk to, when it gets closer, you know, you're getting in front of them, you're talking to them, you're talking to their finances, you're uncovering money, you're uncovering income streams. Yeah, you're bound as long as you see enough people. So if you've got 8 to 10 appointments, yeah, you're bound to be writing 1 or 2 pieces of business of some type. So if you have any questions, certainly type those in and I will answer those for you. So remember I said what Social Security can and cannot do? They can give you the best benefit right now, but they can't talk about scenario planning like restricted application. We can, of course. This actually comes right from taking the claim. Number D, provide enough information so claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Is that just wild? Now, the front of my door says financial planner, or I guess it actually says investment advisor. Can you imagine someone coming in and saying, hey, Dave, can you give me some investment advising advice? It's right on your door. Nope, can't do that. Can give you a lot of other advice, but can't give you that advice. Wild. But that's what happens with Social Security. I always call, if you go down there, it's like Baskin Robbins on steroids. You pick a number, wait forever, and just be amazed by what's around you. 5 pillars of income: work, pensions, RMDs, income-producing assets. I always say Social Security is by far the most flexible. It's not a standalone income stream. It's how it complements your other 4 income streams. So how much do you make? Well, we make $50,000 a year. Great. How about pensions? We have no pensions coming in. How about qualified money? I mean, give us an idea. What's your income-producing assets? So we find out what their 401ks, their IRAs, their Roth, their SEP, their simple funds, their brokerage accounts, their bank accounts, their CDs, their money markets, their savings. Whole life insurance has cash values, rental property, income-producing rental property, all of those things, alimony, child support, whatever it happens to be. And of course, we're trying to find an asset that they're either unhappy of where it's at, they're happy with the return, needs to be changed, they're open for that situation. We're finding money here. This is a money slide, really. Okay. So we use a third party for our Social Security. We don't do this one in-house through the IAMS seminar system. Horses have been around for about 15 years, a company in New York. Elaine Floyd has had the system for about 8 years. Just to give you an idea, 8 years ago, I got the very first system. I think it cost me about $300. Now it's about $500. I got it. I looked at it. I thought maybe I'll use it as a reference, but that's just way too hard to learn. And if you don't have an expertise in Social Security claiming, I want to tell you what, it's hard to call yourself a true income planner because Social Security plays such a vital role. I mean, for 95% of the people in the U.S. have a Social Security benefit. It's a big deal. 35% or 34% of the families, it's by far the majority. They rely on almost 100% of it for their income. It's a big deal. And I don't care if you're making $400,000 or $500,000, Social Security is still a big deal. But the calculators for the analysis, horse's mouth, Scott. They got the PowerPoint presentation, though I've changed it some, but it's certainly if your security's licensed, you have an OSJ. And also, just to mention, I OSJ a lot. DOL has changed some things with the way fixed indexed are ran through the grid or not ran through the grid and the association of DOL. But I oversee from an office of supervisory jurisdiction with right now it's with 8 going on 9 here in the next week or two with people that work their business with IAMS. And if you're having broker-dealer troubles or you think the fees are too high, I was talking to a person now at a big major broker-dealer that they've almost doubled the cost of his fees. And they actually reduced his grid payout. So if there's something there, certainly mark yes at the end here, and I can talk to you about that also. But from a Social Security standpoint, Horse's Mouth does a very, very good job. It's FINRA reviewed. They've got online newsletters, and it's just a very, very good system. And remember that free analysis, it's very good. It's about an 8 or 9 page color report with graphs and with cash flow, Excel cash flow charts. And it shows you if you take early, take late, take the most opportune time of what your Social Security is going to be. Myself, and I say over 400 public seminars, actually over 460 now. I make a real complicated subject much easier to understand. That's my goal, is when I'm coaching you. I make money from coaching. So I get paid $150 per session. For 5 sessions, it's $750. And if you qualify, then what happens, IAMS is going to go in and pay for the majority, $555 of the $750. So you're out of pocket $195. You cannot just use me during the coaching sessions, but from there on out. Yeah. Remember, there's no meals served here. That saves you money. And we have, certainly, you can call me, you can email me as often as you want to, as long as you're writing business. Okay? So it's a turnkey system of the way that we set up the Social Security, and the coaching is important. I say, it says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes, does it? Never comes. I have a man cave downstairs, and my son and we get a kick, but my wife bought me a sign that says free beer tomorrow. That's a pretty safe bet. If you heard something today that you think's important to you, then Steve is going to bring up a poll right there. Would you like more information on Social Security coaching seminars? Craig or Lynn or Amy, one of my administrators, will call you in the next day or so, and it's a 25-minute conversation, and we can talk about could this fit into your marketing? And that's an important thing. Could it fit into your marketing scheme? And it isn't for everyone, but if it fits, it's kind of like Cinderella's slipper. It can fit really, really well. And you talk to me. You don't talk to an associate. You talk to myself, who I'm presenting a course today. And I've been in the business since 1981. I know I do a good part of business with securities, but a good part of my business comes from the insurance fixed index part also. So I'm not a product guy. I'm a marketer. And I'm an advisor. So it's a peer talking to a peer. And believe me, if you want to pick my brain, I think you'll come out of that with more information than when you came in. So we're going to leave this poll up for a little bit. I'd love you to mark yes. I'd love to get a hold of you. And Steve, I'll turn this on over to you, see if there's any questions or comments that we need to address.
Okay, Dave. Thank you. Great job as always. So a couple things that I'll mention, because we still got the poll up, and give you opportunity, yes or no. So as many of you may know, right now IAMS doesn't offer seminars without coaching. We do that for a very good reason, because we've seen the success level. It really goes up geometrically when you have somebody kind of standing by you at each step and making sure that things go as they should, because just one little misstep can make a little bit of a difference, or potentially a big difference in what your results are. So as I think when I began, I mentioned too that if you have considered seminars, you're wise. Seminars means that many of our top producers build their business, so it's a proven track to run on, and it will definitely work for you. But to get into seminars can be a little daunting for those maybe not used to speaking in front of groups. That can be a little intimidating. The great thing about Social Security claiming seminars is that it allows you to do that in a very non-threatening manner. It takes just a nice steady hand at the PowerPoint clicker button to be able to pull one of these off and do a good job. You don't really want to answer a lot of questions, or maybe none, during the course of the event, because you want to refer that to the appointment. And David is really good at helping people move from attendee to appointment to second appointment, third appointment, and then close. So very, very good, smooth process. If you considered seminars, I hope you'll consider Dave's really closely. While you're thinking about that further, let's answer a couple of questions. So Tom in Detroit has a question about seminars and the numbers that seem to roll out for you on seminars. I know you covered that a little bit earlier, but so how many pieces do you mail, Dave? What's your general result from your mailing? And then how many, if you have an idea that you can, I know your approaches or estimations are pretty conservative, but can you give us an idea of what your expectation is from your average Social Security claiming seminar?
Yeah, and this is an average, but if you mail out 6,000 pieces, which we do, they're 55 cents a piece. So 6,000 times 55, that's $3,300. So you got $3,300. Remember, that's a lot of money. That's a big investment for most people. And you could buy I always say you could buy a used car for $3,300. Maybe not a great one, but you could buy a used car. That's the amount of money that is mailed out to try to bring in between 0.6 and 0.7%. So 30 to 40 people need to come in. And if 40 people come in, that's 0.7. This is without a meal, so you don't have expense there. So you know what? If you could go in and say you've got 26 buying units, the goal is to, like the last one, we did a little over half of the people came in for appointments. And so if you have 26, that'd be 13 appointments. So our goal is 10 appointments or more. Our friend down in Texas, Will S., Steve, he had, as you saw, he had over 20 appointments from his last Social Security workshop. And he's done, and so what happens is once you're in front of that many people, if you're a halfway decent salesperson, most people are pretty good at sales. They just don't get in front of enough prospects, qualified prospects. So of that 10 to 13 appointments, we're normally going to go in and say it's 10 appointments. We're going to go in. Half of those don't have an interest of going second in a second appointment. Half of those will because there's found money. And of those half, you normally close about half. So that would be 2.5. So out of 10 or 12, 13 appointments, we hope that we can write at least a couple different pieces of business. And so my goal is to write $250,000 of money, $250,000 to $300,000 that will come on in. That could be between fixed indexed, it could be securities, it could be index life, but some kind of a commissionable type of financial strategy or fee-based strategy that you're able to work with that person. That's the goal for myself each time I put on a workshop.
Good. And you do seminars other than Social Security seminars, and so you're a really good person to answer this question. So what's the difference between doing dinners and not having a meal involved with seminars? Besides the cost, what do you perceive as the biggest advantage of someone that doesn't do dinners with a seminar?
Yeah, there's no doubt that the dinner is a lure to have people come in, because there will be people who will come just for the dinner that will never do business. They're just for the dinner. Maybe 20-25% of the people at a dinner workshop are there for the dinner. That doesn't happen. I mean, it isn't like, hey, I think I'll just go ahead and waste 2 hours of my time getting there, getting back, hearing Dave Pimper lecture me on. So they don't come for the heck of it. They come because they're interested. So I think the quality of the person's a little higher. They're there on their own accord. There wasn't any kind of lure except for just an educational lure to get them there. There's also people who just will not go to a dinner workshop knowing it's a sales presentation or it ends up sales. This is much more educational in nature. It's at a library, or at a school. It's a different format. Dinner workshops, I'm there, I'm glad handing, I'm shaking, I'm talking to him, I'm greeting with my other administrator. But Social Security, I don't. I mean, I do it just like if it was a big presentation. I walk in at 5 minutes till, give them some housekeepings. I go back out, come back in 5 minutes, and we don't wear name tags. We don't sit around a table. It's not a social event. So I think that the average person that comes to this, they're more knowledgeable, a little more education, probably have a little bit higher net worth. They're there for the education part of it. Yeah, so I think that's the big deal. It's not a social event. It's much more of an educational event.
Well, and you and I both remember that in Mississippi, gosh, I forgot his name.
Yep.
I'll think of it before I'm done talking here. But so I know that his issue was that he was having good luck with having the seminars, getting plenty of people there, doing advertising in different ways, which we'll talk about again in just a moment. But he had a problem with converting his attendees from, he got appointments, but he wasn't getting sales. And I know that you were able to help him with that a little bit. Talk about transitioning for a second.
Yeah, you're exactly right. What happens is that he was doing Social Security seminars, and what happens is that he was getting people there. and he just wasn't converting them into appointments and into sales. And he went with ours lock, stock, and barrel. And I mean, his production went up immensely. And I mean, he was making the production trips, and in fact, he's had some health problems here as of late that has hampered his production. But I mean, it was very just a marked difference. In fact, just a marked difference of how much money he brought in versus the appointments that he had versus trying to do it by yourself. And there wasn't many things we changed. He did use our system. I don't know if that was a big difference, but just knowing what to do, what to say, how to handle it. Yeah, and his name is Gene B.
There you go.
There you are. Yeah. yeah. How can you forget Gene?
Well, yeah, and I know for a while there, based on his results, he had a little bit of a man crush on you. So I mean, he was.
Yeah.
With the results.
Well, you know what? I mean, we get along well together, and he had done most of the ice breaking before, and he was with another FMO, but
converting.
But his success came from converting those, and that's where we were really able to help him.
You know, I stepped away for a little bit, so I think you talk maybe about some of the other ways you get in front of people, because there's an inordinate amount of questions here from folks about getting attendees without doing mailings, like doing advertising and calling businesses. So you must have talked a little bit about that. Can you tell folks a little bit about what you're doing with the calling of businesses, and you've done some advertising as well, right?
Yeah, I have. I've done advertising, but that's a shotgun approach, and that doesn't work as well, or ads in magazines doesn't work as well as direct mail, because direct mail, you can filter it. What we're doing right now, and we're going to roll this out if it works, and we'll know more. I want to work this for maybe 4 to 5 months, but we're calling businesses from 50 employees to 500, and we're offering to go in with their employees and offer on-site Social Security workshops. And so we just started doing this on the calls, the letters going out, and we're perfecting it right now. But if that works, what I would like to do is I'd like to go in and have one workshop per month, 12 a year. And that's 12 a year. There's some elbow grease involved and some manpower involved, but it certainly has a lot less cost than the workshops per se, the public workshops. I'm not doing it to have it as a standalone. It's more of a complementing. As long as you've got that Social Security information, and you can go out and do a seminar, then we're going to get a system. And Steve, we'll know a lot more in maybe 2 or 3 months, but we do believe that has some potential to have another revenue to show our expertise in Social Security claiming information.
You bet. We've had some luck too recently with Facebook advertising, so we've been able to supplement and get more people in every room by doing a little bit of Facebook advertising, which could be relatively inexpensive. And besides building that seminar, also builds your name recognition around Social Security claiming. So it could generate you some interest in calls outside of the seminar, which I think is
exactly right. And I know that IAMS, we've done some of that from the outside with the actual printer, but we know that IAMS has had some success as of late too, and we've got a pretty good man with Josh that's running that department. So that certainly, I think, is it complements the hard mailing.
Yep. I think we've addressed most of the questions. I think that the people that haven't been able to answer the poll are probably today folks that are just listening as opposed to on board with us. So is there anything that you want to add in closing? We've addressed most of the questions. Is there anything you want to add in closing before we finish up today?
You know, I've been in business since 1981. That's 30-plus years. I've given 400-plus seminars. There's no silver bullet. There's no silver bullet when it comes to writing business. It's hard work. If you think you're just going to get the seminar system, you just sit back, you're going to get 250, 300,000, just like there's nobody's business. Don't believe it, because it's not true. But working from a system, kind of a turnkey system, having a person work hand in hand with you, a coach. There's lots of mentors out there. You know what mentors are? Mentors to me means you go in, you watch what they do, they talk with you from time to time. A coach is there with you every day. They're with you working with you. There's much more hands-on with a coach than a mentor. Not that I don't mentor also, but coaching is what you want. You want someone that I don't mind if you're driving and you get on the rumble strips, but you get hurt if you get in the ditch. I'm keeping you out of the ditch. We're keeping you on the flat road. And I will say right now is, if you've done seminars and you weren't successful before, if you've really never done seminars, if you have the type of money to go in to market, I can tell you right now, as long as you have some persistency with the program, it isn't just a one hit and miss or one hit and hit, but if you have some consistency, I think you could really, really increase your production level. And I will end on this, and you did say this also, Steve, is that you, in the industry, if you go in and you look at the 20 or 30 best producers from every FMO, the one common thread that you'll see through the majority, not all, because some will do radio, some will do television, some will do could just do it from referrals, but the common thread is a public seminar of some type. I'm sure over half of the people make a majority of their money, new money, coming into public seminars. Don't let the train pass you by. It's a great time to start. Hopefully you'll mark yes, and we can talk, and I can give you some insight and see if it's a fit for you.
Dave, you've done a great job as always. Thank you all for joining us today. As Dave said at the outset, take some time out of a busy Tuesday morning to learn a little bit more says a lot about you. Those are the types of folks here at IAMS that we do business with every day, and we want to do business with you. If we can help along the way, I hope you'll give us a call here at the office. It's 800-255-5055. If you want more specific information on Social Security claiming and weren't able to let us know via a poll or whatever, give me a call, and I will get you directly in touch with Dave and his team. There's real opportunity there that I hope that if it's something that you have considered that you'll take advantage of now, it's a great time to do it. And finally, again, thank you for taking some time out of your busy day to join us. We appreciate it very much. We're here to help you at IAMS. Give us a call at 800-255-5055. Have a great finish to your week.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.